Good afternoon. On behalf of the Council of Princeton, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the reorganization meeting of January 4th, 2016. And Madam Clerk, have we met all the noticing requirements for this meeting?
Yes, Mayor.
Please join us as we salute the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome. I'd like to recognize some of our guests of honor that we have here tonight. Just walking in the door, we have our Congresswoman, Bonnie Watson Coleman. Welcome. And County Executive Brian Hughes. We have Senator Kip Bateman with us. We have Mercer County Clerk Paula Salome-Cavello. We have freeholders Andrew Kuntz, freeholder president, and Lucy Walters, and Diane Jarofsky, the county surrogate. And I'd also like to recognize three former mayors who are here with us tonight. Former Mayor Marvin Reed, former Mayor Mildred Trotman, former Mayor Phyllis Marchand, and hopefully I'm not forgetting anybody else. I want to thank everybody here too for coming, and I do want to express. I'm sorry. There's a couple people who came in the back. Freeholder Pat Calavio is here. Thank you for joining us. And Tony Carabelli also. Thank you for being here. And I also want to express the regrets for Patrick Simon. He had a last-minute family event that prevented him from being here tonight, and he wanted us to express his regrets for not being here. So we want to get on with the show here. So the clerk has reported to those present that at the general election held last November, the following individuals were elected to serve on Princeton Council beginning today. And we are excited to call up Heather Howard and Hunter Labovitz to give her oath. And also Nate Howard with the very important job of holding the Bible.
I, Heather Howard, do solemnly swear
I, Heather Howard, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to
established in the United States and this state,
and to the governments established in the United States and this state,
under the authority of the people, so help me God.
under the authority of the people, so help me God.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office
of councilwoman according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
of councilwoman according to the best of my ability, so help me God. Does that look good? Thank you. Is that good?
And now I'd like to call up Lance Liverman, and Benita Leadham will be delivering the oath for Councilman Liverman.
I, Arden Lance Liverman,
I, Arden Lance Liverman,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States and in this state,
and to the governments established in the United States and in this state,
under the authority of the people, so help me God.
under the authority of the people, so help me God.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of councilman
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of councilman
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability, so help me God. Thank you.
Now that we're all here, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Ms. Howard? Here. Ms. Crum-Miller? Here. Mr. Miller? Here. Mr. Liverman?
Here.
Ms. Butler? Here. Mr. Simon is absent. And Mayor Lemper.
Here. I will now accept nominations for the office of Council President.
I'm pleased to place in nomination for the position of Council President for 2016 my colleague and friend, Arden Lance Liverman. I believe that Lance is the best qualified member of Council to become Council President by virtue of his long experience as an elected official. He is the only elected official who was born in Princeton, went to Princeton Public Schools, and has deep roots in our community built through relationships from a lifetime of family and friendship. Lance is a real Princetonian who understands our town and the workings of our government. He has worked unstintingly to better our community. It's my honor to nominate Lance Liverman for Council President for 2016.
I second that motion with great enthusiasm.
All right. Are there any other nominations? Okay. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Howard?
Yes.
Ms. Crum-Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Liverman?
Yes.
Ms. Butler?
I'm going to vote to abstain. I'm going to abstain, and it is not my intention to question Lance's exemplary service in our municipal government. He is to be commended for the good works he's done for our community, for the quiet and selfless way he has helped and given to so many individuals over the years, and for his many accomplishments for Princeton. My decision is based on my conviction that in furtherance of the spirit and promise of consolidation, the leadership positions on council should be determined collegially and not in a way that perpetuates old borough townships divisions and the prediction by some that township personnel would dominate our new government. The best way to overcome those divisions and defy those predictions is through a rotation of leadership that gives fair consideration to all members of council. And for that reason, I'm going to abstain.
Motion carries.
Okay. Congratulations, Mr. Liverman. and I'll call back Benita Leadham to do the oath of office again.
These are my two daughters. This is Ashlyn Liverman and Kelsey Liverman. Kelsey, thank you.
I, Arden Lance Liverman,
I, Arden Lance Liverman,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, to the governments established in the United States,
and in this state under the authority of the people, so help me God.
and in this state under the authority of the people, so help me God.
I do further solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all of the duties of the office of Council President 2016 according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
I do further solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of Council President 2016 according to the best of my ability, so help me God. Thank you.
I'm now going to go down to administer the oaths to our fire chiefs, and we'll start with Dan Tomlin. This is for you. And then people in here do more than me. I, Dan Tomlin, do solemnly swear
I, Dan Tomlin, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States and this state,
to the governments established in this state and the United States,
under the authority of the people, so help me God.
under the authority of the people, so help me God.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of the office of fire chief
perform all the duties of the office of fire chief
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Great job. Congratulations. Actually, Dan, I think you have to sign. So you have to sign this. You have to sign this. Yeah. Next, I'd like to call up Kyle Rendell. Is someone holding this for you? Okay. I, Kyle Rendell,
I, Kyle Rendell,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United
and
States
in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of the office of Deputy Fire Chief
perform all the duties of the office of Deputy Fire Chief
according to the best
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. And now I'd like to call up Salvador Baldino. Oh, great. Congratulations.
I, Salvatore Baldino,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear that I will swear to support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith to the allegiance of the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the government established in the United States
and in this state,
and into the state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of Assistant Fire Chief
of the office of the Assistant Fire Chief
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my abilities.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Congratulations. All right, and now we have a special item on our agenda this evening. It's a proclamation in honor of former Mayor Marvin Reed, who sadly has recently moved out of Princeton, but not too far. And so I'd like to invite council to join me down there and to ask former Mayor Reed to meet us down there too, so we can issue this proclamation. So don't try to grab
We'll return the frame for you if you want.
No. Well, we're going to give it to you, just you have to wait an hour. But you should stand here
Right.
and face your public. Okay. This is an official proclamation. Whereas Marvin Reed moved to Princeton as a single young man in 1958, working for the New Jersey Education Association and living in a shared apartment on Jefferson Road, and whereas when he and Ingrid Wagner were married in 1959, they put down roots in the Princeton area that were to grow for 57 years as they raised a family and firmly established themselves as leaders in the growth and maturity of the Princeton community. And whereas Marvin's entry into Princeton politics came when he worked on Barbara Sigmund's campaign for Borough Council, and whereas in 1985 he began 13 years of service to the residents of Princeton Borough and the Princeton community when Mayor Barbara Sigmund invited Marvin to run for an open seat on Borough Council. And whereas after the death of Mayor Sigmund in 1990, Marvin became Mayor of Princeton Borough, a position that he held for 3 terms until 2003. And whereas as councilman and mayor, Marvin advocated for and led the development of affordable housing and the redevelopment that led to the new Princeton Public Library, the Municipal Garage, Heinz Plaza, and new apartment buildings that helped to maintain an attractive and vital downtown. And whereas Marvin's contributions to the well-being of Princeton and its residents did not end with his retirement as mayor of Princeton Borough, but continued with his service on the planning board, the commissions and committees that merged Princeton Borough and Princeton Township into the new municipality of Princeton. And whereas many years ago, Marvin recognized that the growth of Princeton as a cultural hub for the rapidly growing region and the rise of Princeton University as a world-class teaching and research institution came with the price of rapid growth of motor vehicle traffic in Princeton. And whereas Marvin focused his attention on traffic and transportation issues in Princeton and the region, his foresight brought into being the Princeton Freebie, the municipal free bus service that provides Monday through Saturday service from major residential clusters in the Princeton community to the Princeton Central Business District and the Princeton Shopping Center, as well as a connection to New Jersey Transit rail and bus service and the Princeton University bus system. And whereas after these many years of residence in the great municipality of Princeton, Marvin and Ingrid have pulled up stakes and moved a few miles north into the wilderness known as the Township of Montgomery. Now, therefore, I, Liz Lempert, Mayor of Princeton, County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim Monday, January 4th, 2016, as Marvin Reed Day in Princeton. There's a little bit more. You all did such a great job clapping, but there's a little coda at the end of this. All right. So we do hereby proclaim Monday, January 4, 2016 as Marvin Reed Day in Princeton, extending to Marvin on behalf of the council and the citizens of Princeton our deepest appreciation for his distinguished service, and call upon all citizens to hail his outstanding service to the Princeton community with boisterous cheering and sustained applause.
Hey, Marvin. Congratulations.
Okay, you're good.
I want to thank former Council President Miller for drafting that proclamation, too. And I think we all learned a little something about Marvin and at least his early years with Ingrid. That was very interesting, so thank you for doing that. Okay, now we move on to our consent agenda, which is quite lengthy for this evening.
I'd like to move approval of the consent agenda.
I'd like to take one item off for discussion for a sec.
Okay. Which is the item, and then we can move the rest of the consent agenda.
Okay. It's the appointment of the Public Safety Committee.
Well, that's the first, you have to, I think, remove the entire resolution then from the consent agenda.
Okay.
16-1. Is that right? Okay.
16-1, yes.
Okay. So is there a motion to move the consent agenda without that first item?
So moved.
Okay, it's moved by Ms. Butler and seconded by Ms. Howard. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes unanimously, and we can then move to the first item, the resolution authorizing 2016 council department assignments.
I just wanted to request that we table the appointment of the Public Safety Committee until we can have further discussion with Patrick Simon present. Several of us wanted to discuss rotating that assignment, so I would ask the consideration of the council for tabling this.
Has he asked for that? I know our past practice has been when someone has been absent that they ask. So if we want to amend our policy, I want to make sure we're being very transparent about it. And I saw him yesterday, and he didn't mention, so I don't know, have we heard from him, and has he asked for this?
He is interested in having the discussion, and he was, if you want me to go into more detail about this?
No, I just want to make sure we're being
I mean,
transparent about
I
our
will go into
policies.
more detail if you'd like, but...
But do we want to amend our policies, and if, it's not just the person who's absent, but anyone on
He was
council?
interested in tabling it if we were not going to discuss changing our ordinance. And since we're not going to discuss changing our ordinance, he is interested in...
Okay. So in the future, though, we don't need an email from one member of council to everyone on council like in the past?
I think that's a good policy to start, since we haven't been doing it yet.
Right, but that has not been our policy, and I'll second your motion to table.
Okay. I think our policy has been that someone has to request it, and that's how we followed. But if we want to amend that, I think we should be transparent about it, so.
Well, we can put that in our handbook.
I guess I would have a question for our attorney, if we can, if there's a gap and we don't have a public safety committee, is that an issue?
Well, can we call the vote, or?
Okay, so there's a motion and a second to table, but there's moved by Ms. Krummeller, seconded by Ms. Butler. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. This is to table the, that part of the resolution.
Ms. Howard?
No.
Ms. Krummeller?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
As a matter of courtesy, I vote yes.
Okay. Mr. Liverman?
No.
And Ms. Butler?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then is there a motion to approve the rest of the assignments aside from public safety?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Liverman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so if we could get some legal just determination too, if the old Public Safety Committee is still in effect until in the interim, just in case we have an issue that comes up, that would be great. Thank you. Okay. Oh, now it's my remarks. Okay. So I want to welcome everybody again for attending tonight, and I'll begin my remarks with what is likely foremost on everyone's mind, and that is consolidation. 3 years ago, Princeton took a giant leap to consolidate the township and borough, and today I'm happy to report that it's working, and working well. In fact, better than expected on many fronts. The timing is especially significant because the Consolidation Commission predicted that full consolidation would be reached at the end of 3 years' time. While it's true that most of the nuts and bolts work of merging the two governments is behind us, there's still more to be done. We still have the bulk of our land use ordinances left to harmonize, and we are still paying off some of the one-time transition costs associated with consolidation because these expenses were amortized over 5 years. The good news is that the savings from consolidation have met and even exceeded expectations. Last month, the Citizens Finance Advisory Committee delivered a report to Council comparing projected savings based on the 2011 Consolidation Commission report estimates with actual savings. The report calculated the difference between the 2015 and the combined 2011 salary and benefit budgets, adjusted for inflation. I want to particularly thank Councilman Patrick Simon and CFAC Chair Scott Sillers for their painstaking work in analyzing the numbers. The estimated gross savings from consolidation in 2015 was $3.92 million. After factoring out expanded services, including trash collection, Access Princeton, and increased IT and corner house staffing, net savings for the year equaled $2.77 million. That is over $600,000 more than the Consolidation Commission estimated, and does not include savings in operating expenses, such as the need for only one audit and one single maintenance garage instead of 2. It also does not factor in savings on major capital expenses, including the need to only upgrade equipment at one police dispatch center instead of 2. In the coming years, we further expect savings from the police department as personnel in higher rank positions retire and are replaced with entry-level patrol officers. The consolidation was a massive undertaking by elected officials, municipal staff, and dedicated citizen volunteers. It will forever be a seminal event in our town's history and has cemented the municipality of Princeton's reputation as a place for government innovation. In fact, this community's incredible spirit of innovation is the theme that unites our recent past and future, and the theme of my address to you this evening. That spirit was perfectly exemplified in Princeton's first civic hackathon this past June. The Code for Princeton Hackathon and the ongoing Hack and Learn Nights at the Public Library have brought together local software developers, designers, and other interested residents, along with municipal staff, who've helped provide publicly open data sets to use technology to help improve local government. Together, they've developed innovative solutions for a wide range of municipal issues, from an app that displays election results district by district, to a ride-sharing app that makes it easier to carpool, to a local jobs posting app for residents looking for work. Later this month, Code for Princeton's Hack Night will focus on creating an app that will simplify the process of applying for affordable housing, so that an individual can see what is available without having to visit each of our town's 3 affordable housing providers. Along with making information easily accessible to improve the quality of life in our town, this collaboration is helping to change the culture of government by enabling us to work more effectively and creatively with our residents. Across the board, we have made strides in opening the workings of our town to residents. By embracing the amazing talent and expertise we find here, combined with the generous spirit of volunteerism, wonderful things are happening to improve our community's health and safety and to make us a more inclusive and sustainable town. I'd like to highlight some of them for you now. For example, thanks to the work of the Recreation Department with the support of the Recreation Board and Councilwoman Joe Butler, the Community Park Pool set its all-time attendance record this summer with over 115,000 visitors. And though the board cannot take credit for the Bluefish Swim and Dive teams both winning the Princeton Area Swim Dive Association Championships, I wanted to be sure to mention how proud we are of that success and about the CP Pool being selected to host the 2016 championship meet. It will be the first time Princeton has hosted the event in more than 30 years. The Princeton Health Department also set a record. It completed its first ever 5-year strategic plan in 2015. It also submitted an application for National Public Health Accreditation and became only one of 3 health departments in New Jersey to reach this step in the accreditation process. Meanwhile, the Princeton Board of Health led the way in improving the health of our community by passing a tobacco ordinance raising the purchase age for cigarettes to 21. Councilwoman Heather Howard, the former health commissioner for the state of New Jersey, has been instrumental in working with the Board of Health to have Princeton lead the state in these efforts. In addition, the Health and Human Services Departments teamed up to hold Affordable Care Act workshops to provide information to residents about their health care choices and to facilitate sign-ups. The workshops received national recognition and were held up as a model for other communities to follow. The difficult topic of end-of-life care received special attention in 2015. Princeton was one of only 3 communities chosen statewide to participate in the Conversation of a Lifetime pilot project as part of the Mayor's Wellness Campaign. The goal is to provide support and encouragement for individuals to document their wishes for end-of-life care and to share their wishes with loved ones and neighbors and caregivers. Sadly, the growing heroin problem required special attention, and Corner House stepped up its services to provide it. As Corner House continued to offer proactive drug education and treatment programs in 2015, it became licensed to provide intensive outpatient services through the state drug court program. Staff from Corner House and the Health and Human Services Departments also received training on administering the heroin and opiate overdose drug, nalazone. This proactive stance has helped save lives. A final highlight of how we were innovative on the health front has to do with transportation. In 2015, when New Jersey Transit announced it would discontinue the 655 bus line that took Princeton residents to the hospital, the Human Services and Health Departments were instrumental in working with hospital officials to put an alternate transportation service in place. As a result, the hospital has been providing free taxi rides to and from the hospital for residents who have no other access to transportation and live within a half-mile radius of the old hospital. Last month, close to 50 rides were provided to residents. Princeton University also stepped up to the plate when the 655 was canceled and expanded the service on their Tiger Transit Plainsboro line to add a stop at Palmer Square. Innovative partnerships have also served to make our town safer. The formal cooperative agreement between our police department and Princeton University's Department of Public Safety continues to produce benefits. The command staff from both departments meet monthly. University Public Safety Director Paula Minsky also meets regularly with Police Chief Nick Sutter. For the first time, officers from the two departments regularly train together. There were several joint trainings in 2015 sponsored by Princeton University, including trainings on crisis intervention, traffic management, and leadership to improve employee morale, accountability, and performance. Another partnership, this one with Mercer County Executive Brian Hughes, Bergen County Executive Jim Tedesco, and Edgewater Mayor Michael McPartlin, also resulted in a safer Princeton. After the disastrous Bergen County fire at the Avalon Bay complex in Edgewater, these elected officials joined with us and concerned residents for a press conference here in Princeton. As a result, Avalon Bay agreed to voluntarily upgrade the safety measures in their Princeton development by installing masonry firewalls and a more extensive sprinkler system beyond what is required by state law. Those are some of the highlights showing how consolidation, innovation, and collaboration are making our town healthier and safer. Next, I want to say how very proud I am that in 2015, we ushered in a more inclusive Princeton. The Human Services Department completed its first ever Community Needs Assessment. The report stems from interviews with scores of low and moderate income families and individuals in Princeton, asking directly about their greatest needs. Already, the report has already sparked collaborations between the Human Services Department and local nonprofits to better address the needs of our at-risk populations. The Human Services Department also partnered with local nonprofits to identify the needs of Princeton's day laborer and low-wage worker community to build trust and get them connected to already existing supports. To help low-income and non-English-speaking families, the town and school district are now collaborating to deliver family support services. For example, we will share a bilingual parent liaison on a 6-month trial basis. The school district will pay the salary, and the liaison will spend some of their time at Monument Hall in conjunction with our Human Services staff to help link families to all available resources. This past year, the Human Services Department was key in helping unaccompanied minors coming from Central America enroll in the Princeton Public Schools, as well as connecting them to different supports and resources in the Princeton community. As we all know, housing is paramount to a stable household and life. To help more people in town achieve stability, affordable housing figured prominently in Princeton in 2015. With state regulations on affordable housing in limbo, the Princeton Council and Planning Board were forced, along with hundreds of other municipalities in New Jersey, to take their housing plans to the courts for approval. We submitted a preliminary list of sites in December, and in the coming months, the Planning Board will finalize the revisions to the housing element of the master plan, and the Council will file its plans with the court. Although the plans are being put together within the context of litigation, the Council has attempted to make the process as public as possible and has sought public input along with the Planning Board throughout. Princeton will present its case in court with the advantage of having a strong historical commitment to affordable housing that predates state requirements. In the beginning of the year, we approved funds for a new group home on Hilltop to serve adults with disabilities and worked with residents and Habitat for Humanity to potentially build affordable housing next to the expanded Mary Moss Playground. Before COA was thrown to the courts, we also had established an affordable housing task force led by then Council President Bernie Miller to identify publicly owned properties that could serve as possible affordable housing sites. Post-consolidation, the Affordable Housing Department has worked closely with the Housing Authority and Princeton Community Housing to help demystify the affordable housing system and help eligible residents apply. I want to thank Councilman Liverman for his leadership in helping to bring these groups together. The Affordable Housing Department, in partnership with Princeton Community Housing, the Princeton Housing Authority, Housing Initiatives of Princeton, and Princeton Human Services, offered a series of financial literacy workshops designed to provide tools for managing financial affairs. Again, in the spirit of innovation, the university's Merwick-Stanworth development will contain 56 units of community affordable housing once it's complete. So far, 16 of those units are built and occupied. This is the first time community affordable housing has been built as part of a university development, and it has been a terrific way to grow connections between the university and the larger community. 2015 saw a physical manifestation of that connection. A new pathway connecting Merwick-Stanworth directly to the YW and YMCA has created a quick, safe cut-through for pedestrians and further cements the bond between the Y, the university, and the community. Alongside constructing more affordable housing, Princeton has become one of the top 10 municipalities in the state of New Jersey for its volume of construction. Princeton's building department has never been busier than it was in 2015. It issued 2,171 permits, 103 certificates of occupancy, 1,731 certificates of approval, and completed 10,519 inspections. While this level of activity is a sign of our economic vitality and attractiveness as a place to live and operate a business, it also calls for strong planning and continued effort to protect neighborhood character. With that in mind, in 2015, Princeton's Historic Preservation Commission recommended creating a local historic district in the Witherspoon-Jackson neighborhood, a proposal that Council will be considering in 2016. Council also passed a package of zoning ordinances that aim to eliminate loopholes in the limits placed on large-size homes. To keep citizens more readily informed and involved in the planning process, videos of the Zoning and Planning Board meetings are now posted online, in addition to videos of council meetings. This comes as part of a package of recommendations from the Neighborhood Planning District Task Force headed by Jenny Kremler. Being a popular town has its downsides, and in 2015 we finally took control of one, the tour bus traffic that was clogging the Central Business District, especially in the summer. With the help of the Traffic and Transportation Committee and local merchants, council and staff developed a system for managing the parking and loading of tourist buses and limiting their negative impacts to quality of life for residents and visitors alike. The Trenton Times called the plan, which has the buses using the existing bus stops along Nassau Street, a, quote, triumph of creative thinking. That was an example of how to sustainably balance people, profit, and the planet, 3 stools of sustainability. Another sustainability project, though not on Nassau Street, is in the works. Former Council President Bernie Miller, working with staff, has developed a plan to lease the old landfill on River Road for use as a solar farm. The energy generated will help to power the adjacent sewage treatment plant, another innovation in our town that I'm very proud of. In another move towards sustainability, Princeton initiated work on a bicycle master plan in 2015 to help make bicycling through town safer and more enjoyable. The project is fully funded by the New Jersey Department of Transportation, including professional consulting help from Parsons Brinkerhoff. Princeton also received a federal congestion management and air quality grant for $196,000 to establish a bike share program in conjunction with Princeton University and to build covered bike parking. The engineering department also secured a $300,000 Safe Routes to School grant to install new traffic signals and improve the Harrison Street, Franklin Avenue, and Harrison Street, Hamilton Avenue intersections. These efforts to make Princeton a more bikeable and walkable town led to Princeton being selected to host the statewide Bike Walk Summit here this February. Speaking of walkability, I'm happy to report that Princeton continues to increase the amount of open space in town. In 2015, we added to our open space inventory with the Tash property land next to Mary Moss Playground in partnership with Mercer County. And we also expanded the Princeton Battlefield Park with the 4.6-acre Dambrisi tract acquisition. That acquisition was supported with funding from the state of New Jersey, Mercer County, Friends of Princeton Open Space, and the Civil War Trust. To keep paths walkable in the Billy Johnson Mountain Lakes Preserve, 2 new pedestrian bridges were constructed through a grant obtained by the Friends of Princeton Open Space. This year, we also turned our attention to maintenance of our passive open space, over 1,100 acres of it. We created an open space task force made up of representatives from local land preservation groups, relevant commissions, and staff. The recommendations as to pressing stewardship needs will help guide allocation of resources. In the spirit of providing space for relaxation and enjoyment, Princeton created community open space in an unexpected place in 2015 by temporarily converting 2 parking spots on Witherspoon Street into Princeton's first parklet. I hope you had a chance to see it and spend some time in it watching Princeton's vibrant world go by. Built to enrich street life and build community, ours was yet another example of innovation and collaboration among artists, business owners, nonprofits, and staff. In the several months it was up, residents and visitors enjoyed sitting on the handmade benches and sharing time with their neighbors and friends. I'd be remiss not to mention that Princeton received a number of awards this year. Greater Mercer TMA Gold Level Safe Routes to School Award, the Greater Mercer TMA Gold Level Smart Workplace Award. Municipal engineer Bob Kaiser was recognized at the League of Municipalities Conference with the New Jersey Society of Municipal Engineers Distinguished Service Award. Vicki Keynes was honored as New Jersey Recreation and Parks Association Employee of the Year, and Vicki Keynes was also awarded a Sustainable Princeton Leadership Award for her community gardens projects. And finally, the Police Department's Safe Neighborhood Unit were named Volunteers of the Year by the Mercer County Municipal Alliance. Princeton has also started giving out its own awards. Access Princeton, as part of their effort to create a culture of exceptional customer service within the municipality, has started a program to recognize staff members who go above and beyond for our residents. And the council has also started a tradition of handing out awards to recognize community organizations and individuals who make extraordinary contributions to the town. 2015 was not without its share of goodbyes. Lieutenant Sharon Papp retired, as did Sergeant Malta. Kurt Berry from IT, Bill Urian from Public Works, Larry Logan, our electrical inspector, and Mark Johnson, our animal control officer, all said goodbye. And in a couple weeks, Leslie Berger, who has shepherded our fabulous public library for the past 16 years, will be stepping down. The Princeton Environmental Commission will not be the same without Matt Wasserman as the chair. We are sad to see him step down and thank him for his years of service to the commission. Former Borough Mayor Marvin Reed stepped down from the Planning Board in 2015. We honored him earlier in the meeting with a proclamation, but I wanted to recognize him again for his longstanding service to the Princeton community and the contributions he's made. We also mourn the loss of Charles Roget. Charles served as the chair of the Board of Health and also as the Board of Health liaison to the Environmental Commission for several years. We remember his strength in the face of adversity, his deep wisdom, and his gentle spirit. Princeton lost one of its great men. Council will be meeting next week for its annual ritual, started 3 years ago, of priority and goal setting. We have an active, energetic council and staff, as I'm sure you've heard by my long remarks, and I expect we'll have another full plate in 2016. Some of the projects and priorities I see for the coming year include continuing to harmonize our land use code, launching a new municipal website, completing our fair share affordable housing plan for the courts, considering Witherspoon-Jackson neighborhood historic designation, completing the bicycle master plan, establishing a capital asset maintenance and replacement plan, creating a plan for moving recurring capital expenses to the operating budget, reviewing fire department space and equipment needs, and also, I hope, establishing a youth advisory council. In closing, I want to thank everyone who had a part in the accomplishments I've mentioned today, and for all the other work that time doesn't allow me to mention right now. I'm excited for all the challenges and opportunities of the coming year and look forward to working with my colleagues on council, the staff, our volunteers, and the broader community to make Princeton an even more innovative, welcoming, and sustainable community. Thank you. That was really long. All right. Council President Lance Liverman.
All right, the mayor's remarks were 11 pages, and mine are 22. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Let me begin by just saying that I could never, and I don't think anyone could ever replace the shoes of outgoing Council President Bernie Miller. I think that all our lives have been enriched by having Council President Bernie Miller in a senior leadership position. And I thank the entire council for giving me this opportunity. I will serve to the best of my ability. I'd like to thank each of you for having a vision to re-elect Heather Howard and myself for 3 more years. I think that's wonderful. It's truly a gift and honor to serve the wonderful residents of Princeton. And I don't take my elected position lightly. Many of you remember that I started off my remarks last year by repeating the advertisements that said, sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Almond Joy has nuts, Mounds don't. The experience of 2015 have prepared me to do what Yogi Berra said. And he said something like, when you come to a fork in the road, take it. Take it. So this is the direction I see the 2016 council moving in. Moving forward with strength and determination, moving forward without getting caught up in the weeds, moving forward with respecting all of our wonderful municipal employees and the residents of this great town. Moving forward by listening and understanding that we have many different economic classes of residents that must be served. And if you don't remember anything I say today, just remember I said that we must move forward. That's easy to remember. I've observed while serving as liaison to the Public Safety Committee, Princeton Affordable Housing Board, Corner House Board, Princeton Housing Authority, and as Fire Commissioner, that moving forward is the new theme. Public Safety Committee continues to work towards strengthening and developing a professional organization of law personnel. We're extremely grateful to have Chief Sutter in the driver's seat. His leadership and communication skills has just propelled the police department light years from where we started in 2013. The recent discussions of community policing and the use of body cameras for officers that have been discussed and they're being carefully developed and implemented for future use. The incredible submission of over 600 resumes that were received for only 6 police positions is clear evidence of how our police department is viewed by so many potential lawmen and women. This is a direct result in having the correct leadership in the right positions at the right time. It is also that our police department understands that they have council support to continue to move forward with excellent positive changes. The mayor mentioned Corner House. There are very few towns in the state of New Jersey that have made a conscientious and financial obligation to invest their resources to pick up our youth when they fall short. Sometimes our children's friends, our nieces, our nephews, excuse me, I lost my place, nephews need direction. We need to know the negative effect that abusing the body with drugs and alcohol, what it can cause. It is this pivotal place in our lives that Corner House has changed the direction of thousands of youth. The many leadership programs create youth ambassadors that lead by example. The success rate of these programs are nothing but a miracle. I must acknowledge in the audience Mr. Gary de Blasio, the Director of Health, Youth, and Community Services, for leading Corner House and for saving our children. Many people have rejected, they simply reject the saying, it takes a village to raise our children. But I can tell you, if you don't continue to provide this kind of preventive service, for our children, the Princeton community will see a major change in a positive direction our children are heading now. This year, Corner House, as the mayor mentioned, was licensed to provide intensive outpatient services and the ability to provide 9 hours per week of these services for clients. And this is a far cry from where we were years ago, and this was implemented by the New Jersey Drug Court Program. While brainstorming on how to reach parents and many of these children, it was decided that small coffees at various houses might work. So Jackie Schreiber of Corner House, Director of Prevention Programs, began a campaign entitled Coffee and Conversations. This program lets parents gather for coffee and discuss the issues related to their children. It is successful. We found out in small settings, it is amazing the impact of these positive educational programs will have on the parents. Corner House will in 2016 look into expanding the funding base in both private and public sectors, increase referral base through marketing to additional local colleges and universities and our private schools. We will host the heroin awareness educational programs for students, parents, and community members, and increase collaboration with other municipal departments and local nonprofits. And this is just a sample of the programming at Corner House that is consistent with moving forward agenda. The affordable housing that was mentioned, this is the year COA will give, Council on Affordable Housing, will give Princeton a number of affordable units need to be built or created in the next 10 years. It is so nice to say that Princeton began affordable housing before any court mandated the need for every town to build affordable housing. This is a great year for Princeton Affordable Housing Department, which is headed by Ms. Christy Peacock. They approved funds to purchase a much-needed group home, as mentioned, in Princeton. The old rehabilitation program was recreated and provided 2 rehab grants and 1 rehab loan. There was a major partnership with Princeton Resource Center and Princeton Affordable Housing with the assistance from Comfort Partners to have installed a high-efficient heating and hot water system in one of our elderly couples' dwellings. Through the Affordable Housing Home Purchasing Program, there were 4 down payment assistance loans. This enabled families and individuals to live the American dream and have home ownership. In 2016, the Affordable Housing will develop criteria for the selection of an affordable housing coordinator, continue to provide housing for those in our area who need assistance, ensure the homeownership aspect of the program remains sustainable and viable, revamp affordable housing program public relations in coordination with council and administration guidelines, and create a new mission statement. There are very few areas, all these areas are also with the theme, Princeton Move Forward. Princeton Housing Authority was established in 1938 and provides housing to low-income residents. This segment of our population is growing. The Housing Authority is a separate entity, not municipal owned. It is under the direction of Chairman of the Board, Mr. Leighton Newland, and Executive Director, Scott Parsons. Many renovations and landscaping projects have been completed this year. The Housing Authority deserves our thanks for donating land to the municipality that can be used in the future creation, as mentioned, of the Mary Moss Park. Housing Authority operates over 236 units, and by the waiting list, it is evident that more units are needed for our Princeton residents. And I can't be more proud as a fire commissioner of our Princeton Fire Department. We cannot say thank you enough for the brave women and men that volunteer their time and energy protecting our lives every minute of the day. We are lucky to live in a town where this type of dedication still exists. We have launched and received back a comprehensive fire department spatial needs and apparatus assessment. This was completed by Municipal Resources, Inc. It's a very detailed report, and council and mayor will review this report during 2016 and make suggestions. The fire department is lucky to have, as we've seen earlier, Chief Tomlin, Deputy Chiefs Kyle Wendell, and Salvatore Baldino leading this fine organization. In closing, the council's job would be impossible if it was not for the support staff that takes the bulk of the work and creates masterpieces. I want to thank our municipal administrator, Mr. Mark DeShield, our Assistant Administrator, Ms. Kathy Monzo, Deputy Clerk, Linda McDermott, and the entire clerk office for providing the support that is needed. Also want to thank our Municipal Attorney, Trishka Cecil, and the law firm Mason, Griffin, and Pearson. We need to also thank our management team for always being there whenever the call goes out for help. And I also want to thank my family that are here tonight. And let's continue the theme, move forward for 2016.
Ms. Butler? You want to go next?
Am I next or Bernie?
Well,
Are we not going?
you can be next. And then I was looking this way, and then we'll go down this way.
Mr. Miller, really? You have seniority. Would you prefer to go?
That's okay. You can
Okay,
go.
thank you. Well, my notes start out and say the good thing about being fifth is that you're not sixth or seventh, but I just really got lucky because moving up in the list, there's just a few things left to say. This is the out with the old and in with the new time of year, and while much has been said about both, I would like to add just a couple of shout-outs to some folks as we close out 2015. As the mayor mentioned, as the rec liaison, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fine job they did this year. We had the longest possible summer. We had 110 days between Memorial Day and Labor Day, and over 115,000 visitors to the pool complex. I cannot emphasize how much work and preparation went into ensuring that everyone was safe, which is always our highest priority. We approved about $80,000 worth of capital improvements for 2016, which will enhance the pool and tennis complex. We installed some terrific new water fountains at locations around the municipality, and we will have 2 new fountains with bottle fillers at the pool this summer. I want to thank Deanna Stockton for her help as we began our work on the Mary Moss Park renovation. And I also want to give a shout out to resident Holly Nelson, who brought her 4 of her students from her Rutgers landscape architecture class down to make presentations to us about the possibilities with the park. They were really terrific students. They had done a lot of work on the history of the park. They had investigated other, New York City parks and brought models of what we might hope to have at Mary Moss Park. It was really, really terrific, and I appreciate that. As the liaison to the Historic Preservation Committee, I also want to compliment them on the huge job they undertook in preparing the information on the Witherspoon-Jackson neighborhood. Whether or not it eventually becomes a historic district, we have a valuable record of an important part of our town's history that will be available to all of us in all the years to come. I also would like to give a shout out to our staff. Our Monday night meetings mean that we often are mailing staff with questions over the weekend, and I know I speak for everyone on council when I say how much we appreciate the effort they make to respond in a timely fashion. Last winter, I received a complaint over the weekend from a resident regarding something that was going on the Avalon Bay construction site, and whatever it was seemed important enough for me to reach out to Bob Kaiser, who answered his phone on the ski slope. Within an hour, we had someone at the construction site, and I just want to compliment Bob Kaiser for always going above and beyond the call of duty. It's been a big year as the Avalon Bay project has taken place. I also want to thank Bob Huff and Jeff Grosser. They've been incredibly responsive to issues related to health and safety in the Central Business District. Without fail, they will investigate trash and garbage violations when notified. And when one of the garbage haulers in town leaked something that left Witherspoon Street smelling of dead fish the day before the library benefit, Bob Huff looped in Bob Gregory, and the fire department washed down the street. It is a real team effort. Kathy Monzo, Sandy Webb, Scott Sillers, and Patrick Simon and the rest of CFAC deserve a huge shout out for their work analyzing consolidation. It was a lot of work, but it was an incredibly important undertaking. I've cut and pasted here as they've gone along. I think I've mentioned everything I wanted to mention, but it's difficult to put into words the appreciation I have for the fact that I can represent with confidence the work that stands behind what we do on the dais. As we acknowledge the incredible contribution of Marvin Reed and Ingrid Reed. I'd like also to thank all the volunteers and staff who make Princeton a great place to live. It's an honor to represent such a terrific town, and I want to congratulate Lance Liverman, whose name just escaped me because I was looking at our colleague, Councilwoman Heather Howard, and congratulate them on their election.
Councilman Miller?
Many of us look at the new year as a new beginning. At the new year, we make resolutions and try to set a personal course for the year to come and beyond. With that in mind, I'd like to offer two of my personal resolutions that I hope all of my colleagues on council would want to adopt as their own. First, I resolved to do what I was elected to do, namely to get the people's business done in an expeditious and efficient manner by focusing on the substance of the business and not on the personalities or personal attributes of those who are pro or con the matter at hand. Second, I resolved to be guided by a rule that was imprinted on the back of a ruler that I carried throughout most of my elementary school years. It began, "Do unto others." I think you can finish that yourself. I've had the honor of being elected by my colleagues on council to serve as council president for the first 3 formative years of our new municipality. As council president, I've enjoyed the opportunity to work with the mayor, my fellow council members, our professional staff, and the many volunteers that make our municipality work well. In that spirit, I look forward to continuing my work as council member, working with my colleagues, with Mayor Lempert, and our new council president, Lance Liverman, in 2016. Thank you, and Happy New Year.
First, I'm going to say congratulations to Heather and Lance for your elections. And Lance, on yours as council president, congratulations. And I want to say thank you to everyone who was involved in local government, including the people who were attending, and also our dedicated staff. The most rewarding and enjoyable part of this job is working with people who share the goal of making our town better. I look forward to doing it again for at least another year. Thanks. Happy New Year.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here starting another term on Princeton Council and want to thank all the voters of Princeton for their engagement in the political process. We are blessed to have such a thoughtful community of engaged residents who give of their time and experience to make this town like no other. I also want to thank my colleagues for their hard work. It's a pleasure serving with you. In particular, I want to congratulate Lance, with whom it was a pleasure to run for re-election this year. Lance, I know that with your deep roots in the community and your strong connections to our staff, you're the right person to fill Bernie Miller's shoes as our next council president. And Bernie, thank you for all your hard work, your wise counsel, your good humor, and not the least your timekeeping skills. I hope that's not going to be passed down this way, the timekeeping duties. We are honored to have many distinguished guests here in the audience, former mayors, county and state representatives, and of course our wonderful Congresswoman Bonnie Watson-Coleman. But personally, I'm most proud that my family was here to swear me in, and want to thank Hunter and Nate for their unwavering support. The mayor has done a great job of outlining many of the accomplishments of 2015 for Princeton, so looking ahead to 2016, I want to highlight just a few priorities. First, in the area of public safety, we are so fortunate to have Chief Nick Sutter leading the department. I noted last year that the department had really turned a corner, and in 2015, the department continued to excel. For example, the department collaborated with many stakeholders in developing a strategic plan that maps out the future of the force, and there's a real emphasis on data-driven enforcement and enhanced focus on traffic safety and community engagement. And while this year law enforcement seemed to be in the news almost daily nationally about questions over tactics and strained relations with the communities they serve, in Princeton here, our department continues to focus on strengthening relations with all members of the community, which makes us all safer. And finally, we swore in a fabulous group of 6 new officers who represent the very bright future of the department. Now, with regard to the Board of Health, Princeton has long been a leader in promoting a healthy community, and 2015 was no exception. As the mayor mentioned, the Board of Health enacted a landmark ordinance to raise the tobacco age of sale to 21. This will help prevent young people from initiating smoking, which is the #1 preventable cause of death. We were also able to save the WIC Clinic, which preserves vital services for moms and families in town. And under the direction of our terrific health officer, Jeff Grosser, we completed a strategic planning process. And so this year in 2016, we're looking forward to completing the process for accreditation. And we hope we will be the first department in Mercer County to achieve accreditation. And throughout the year, we were guided in these and many other efforts by Dr. Charles Roget, who was really a tremendous leader and colleague whose loss we continue to mourn, and I'm glad, Mayor, that you mentioned him as well. With regard to the Human Services Commission, Princeton has a long history of commitment to our most vulnerable residents. And this past year, with the help of the Human Services Commission and our wonderful director, Elisa Nera, we completed a community needs assessment. That report documented the significant needs in our community, a real reminder of the needs here right in our own town, and is helping guide our programming. For example, we continue to partner with the school district to address food insecurity among our children. We've also seen our efforts to address wage theft result in significant wage recruitments for workers who were denied payment. And we have deepened those collaborations with the police department to strengthen ties to our diverse communities. Looking ahead, I'm excited about continuing our work on immigration issues and implementing the Human Services Commission's proposal to create a Civil Rights Commission. But in closing, I'm certain that 2016 will be another exciting year of opportunities and challenges for Princeton. I am proud to have been elected to serve another term and look forward to working with my colleagues, the talented municipal staff, and the many dedicated volunteers who serve on our boards and commissions to ensure that we are providing the most effective, efficient, and inclusive government. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I'd like to open it up if there's anybody from the public who'd like to say anything before we head across the street. Seeing no one, I just wanted to officially invite everybody to the reception at the firehouse across the street. They're going to wait for us to start. And there'll be more festivities there honoring former Mayor Reed, too. So please stop by, and thank you for coming out tonight. Is there a motion to...
So moved.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.